I just finished reading a new book by a man named Chris Hughes, and the title of the book is Fair Shot. It's about income inequality, a particular subject that just drives me crazy, but I like to learn about it from the people from the left. Now, let me tell you Chris Hughes' story. You may have heard of him. He's a co-founder of Facebook. He actually fortunately lucked out by being the roommate of Mark Zuckerberg at Harvard. He wasn't a technical guy, but he got in on the ground level, became a co-founder of Facebook, and of course became a zillionaire because of it. He's not with Facebook now. He was raised in a Christian home in North Carolina. He was taught by his parents to tithe, and they did that to their local church. And so I do trust his heart is good in coming to this issue of poverty and saying, hey, we need to help out. And so he feels guilty about his wealth. And by the way, that's the difference in Republicans and Democrats. When you have an American who becomes rich, whether by luck, like Hughes, or by skill, whatever, a Republican feels good about that and proud that they became rich. But if you become rich and you don't feel good about it, you actually feel guilty about it, you're definitely going to be going the Democrat route, which is what Hughes did. So he's come up with this idea, nothing new. He calls it a guaranteed income. Now, Mark Zuckerberg has talked about universal salary. Barry Sanders is on board. Actually, any socialist, this is their sweet spot. And so Hughes says the way it would be done is this. You would take all the money from the rich, nowhere else. And so that money would go down to the poorest Americans. Now, his formula would be this. If you make less than $50,000, you should be given an income of $500 per month per person. So, a family of four, say, mom and dad, couple of kids, that's, $2,000 a month if you make less than $50,000. But here's my question. Now, I could talk for a long time why this is not going to work ever and why it's a horrible idea. Not going to do that here. I just have one simple question, and if I could sit with Chris Hughes, I would ask him this. Why is it that this idea that you have can only be managed and carried out, administered by government? That's the part I don't get. I mean, I would say to Hughes, actually I looked up, the poorest county in the United States is down in Georgia. Of course, it's a rural county, about 9,000 people. Listen to this. It would take $54 million to give $500 a month to 9,000 people. $54 million. Chris Hughes could do that himself and never feel it year after year after year. So why does the federal government need to become involved? Why not just do it yourself? If you don't want to hire a couple people to manage it, get a local bank to carry this out. Such a simple thing. Why the government involvement? Because that is where we get into the waste. That's where it grows into an incredible behemoth that just drains the whole system of life and energy and money. And that's the part I just don't understand. On top of that, if the government got in charge, the first thing they'd do is build a building to house the staff, pay the staff $1,000 or $10,000 a month to manage paying $500 a month to the people who really need it. So that's the part I just don't get. And so, like with all socialist programs, it sounds so good, but in the end, it's a disaster.